Perch Magazine has just unveiled its fifth edition, and joining me now to speak a little bit more about it is Chantal Tanchmaltang. Welcome to the show, Chantal.
Thank you, Gabe. Thanks for having me.
All right, so as I alluded to, this is the fifth edition. Maybe for those who aren't familiar with Perch Magazine, we could start with a brief overview of exactly what it is and it's a little bit of history.
Sure. So, Perch Magazine was started in the fall of 2017. It was supposed to be a one-off. It was a love letter to Cornwall, Akwesasne, and SDNG. And because we got such great feedback on it, we kept going. So yeah, we're in our third year of publication. And from this point forward, we're going to come out once a year. Typically, we would have come out in the summertime, but for obvious reasons, we got pushed back a little bit.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that. Creating a magazine during a pandemic is probably not the easiest thing, but talk to me a little bit about the process and what made this one different from previous ones.
So typically what we do is we start back in December and then we publish kind of in the summertime. And like everyone else, when the pandemic hit, it was sort of one of those moments where you go, holy crap, what do we do now? So we made the decision to push it off until September, not really knowing, again, what was going to happen. And we just sort of rolled with it. We were continually updating stories, even though we weren't published yet, but we updated stories literally till the last minute, like 2 days before we went to print, we were updating our stories. Obviously, some stories had to change because businesses either weren't reopened in the way that they normally were, or people who we profiled had new things going on. For example, one of the twins, the Barrera brothers, who are Olympic level wrestlers, or soon to be Olympic level wrestlers, one of them in the time span got married, moved to Cornwall, and is going to have a child soon.
Wow.
So that, that kind of thing happened, and we had to stay on top of that as much as we could.
Absolutely. So you just alluded to, of course, that story, but maybe give our viewers a little bit of a sneak peek too. What else can they expect in this edition?
They can read about a young woman who is a high schooler. Actually, her name is Gawan Dio, and she was the star of a movie called Beans, which was a story of the Oka crisis. And in fact, it premiered at TIFF recently, and yesterday we found out that it won best film at the Vancouver International Film Festival. So we have a story like that. We have a story about Caitlin Wright, who's a fantastic historical designer of gowns, dresses, fashion, basically historical fashion. We have a series on builders. So we have a passive house builder, a boat builder, a woman who built a 50-ton boat basically in her backyard in Mountain, and also a car builder, mechanic actually of high performance cars. So we have all sorts of really wonderful stories of our region, and that's kind of the mandate of our magazine, right? Is to highlight the things that people, maybe even people from here, wouldn't necessarily know about. And I think this issue we've done it again.
Absolutely, and I'd say that every edition of Perch is kind of like a love letter to SDNG, right? And why is that local love so important to you, and why is it so important to tell those stories?
Um, that's a really good question. I moved away for a little over 20 years, and I'm not sure that I fully appreciated what I had back home. And when we moved back, I just wanted to be part of a community of people who really did celebrate who we are, where we live, what we do, what incredible things people accomplish here. And I think the pandemic even reinforced that more for me. I've seen people do just total acts of love for the community, for people in it, and I want to be part of that. And this is my way of contributing. This is what I do for a living, and so this is my way of being able to give back as well.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that you do that. So, of course, it's always an exclusive, edition. There's only a limited number of copies, but if people do want to try to snag a copy, how can they do so or enjoy these articles?
Well, I'm happy to say that we've printed more than we've ever printed before with this issue. We had wonderful advertisers that allowed us to do that. So currently, as of this moment, right now, today, There are some at the City of Cornwall, so at City Hall and Economic Development. And those you can ask for them between the hours of 9 and 3 if you go there. Also, Tilly's has some, SDG Counties has some, and I'm actually, as soon as we get off the phone, I'm going on a bit of a distribution run. So there'll be some in Akwesasne at Three Feathers Cafe on the US side, also at Akwesasne Organics on Cornwall Island. And then I'll be hitting up Marlin's in South Glengarry, left and right. I'm going to forget some. Wood Brothers Brewing are going to take some. The winery in Morrisburg, Stonecrop Acres. In Winchester, it'll be Planted Arrow. So we're trying, and Finch Market. So we're sprinkling them around everywhere so that hopefully everyone can get a copy, and it'll be on our website and on our social media channels, the list of distribution points.
That's excellent. So hopefully viewers will run out and get a copy because it is always worth the read. On that note, Chantal, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to you and the whole team that put this together for all your hard work to really highlight the great things that are happening in SDNG.
Thank you for having me, Gabe.